Hey Juliana, how's it going? We're actually live now, officially. We can stop being nervous and just be ourselves and be awkward, which obviously I am. But hi Juliana, how are you doing today? It's Friday. You feeling good or how you feeling?
I'm pretty happy. Here in Brazil, we say sextou. And you,
So,
how are you?
well,
Yes, sextou.
hang on a second. You say what does that mean? Does that mean Happy Friday? Or
Well, yeah, yes, kind of happy Friday. Now you can start enjoying the weekend and
oh,
have
okay,
fun.
cool. Sexto. So sexto, feliz sexto or just sexto?
Feliz sextou ou
Oh, cool.
sextou.
Feliz
You can
sexto.
choose.
Here, British people are a lot more kind of downbeat. So usually when, you ask how someone is, my answer is usually like, I'm all right, not bad is usually a common answer that we give here. So not as positive. But I'm doing okay actually. I'm doing good. I'm doing good is what I mean to say for anyone that's watching this outside of the UK. We should probably start with introducing who we are to anyone that might want to watch this. So should we start with that? But maybe like one of the things that we want to do is just be a bit more genuine. So avoiding the usual kind of introductions that people do at meetings and conferences. Who are you? Where are you from? What are you into? What do you do for fun and that kind of thing? Do you want to go first?
Yes, sure. Well, my name is Juliana Ruiz. I am an immigration lawyer. I live in São Paulo and I am one of the partners from Relocation House. So I am responsible for the immigration and taxation departments. Well, I've been living in São Paulo for almost 10 years now because before I lived for almost 20 years in Recife, is another city here in Brazil.
Okay.
Probably you know very well.
You know it. Look,
And
these are souvenirs from Recife. I was there earlier this year, so
yes, I recognized. This is why I mentioned.
I live by myself.
Exactly.
So these are like my friends. Actually, I talk to them
Yes.
when I'm lonely.
I think I think you enjoyed the carnival
I
there,
do.
right?
We can talk about that later. We can talk about that later. But I had a very good time. It was fun.
Yes.
So you're from Recife.
But
Cool.
yes, and well, I've been working with global mobility over 10 years now. I really enjoy
Mm.
the connections that this environment provide to us and the possibility of knowing other cultures and making meaningful connections. I think this is why we already connected.
Yeah.
And well, I think that's it. I don't know if you want to talk about
No, I think
yourself
that's
a little
really
bit.
interesting. I know that's one of the things that you want to, one of the reasons why we're talking today, but we'll go into that in a second. But my name's Ben Sukia. I'm in London. My family are originally from Mauritius. I've worked in global mobility in immigration for around 10 years. I love what I do because it's mainly about connecting people and having a network that extends to many countries that I love. And I've had the chance to travel and get to know people like yourself in different
Yeah.
countries. So again, I think connection is an important part of what I do. I also have a personal connection with immigration because my parents moved here many years ago. Um, so yeah, I think that's a good summary of why I enjoy working in immigration. But I think one of the things that we wanted to talk about today, or the point that you wanted to talk about today, that Patricia kindly invited us to do this recording was actually about connection, and maybe a good place for us to start is how you and I connected
Yeah.
and became friends. So maybe you want to kind of explain how and when we first met and how we got to the point where we're doing this now.
Yes. Well, I think as we work in the same industry,
Mm.
we knew each other before, right? From the other events, we know who we are. But I
Yeah.
think the first time that we, in fact, spoke was in Munich the last year, and we had just a quick conversation.
You didn't talk to me really. You kind of ignored me actually.
No, don't say that. It was quickly.
We're being authentic here. We didn't really talk that much, did we? I think.
Yes, it's true. But then we started to talk because of Donnie. We have, of course, people in common, and we started talking about the carnival in Brazil. And I was going to share with you some things to do here and some places to go, and so on. And right after that, I think the pandemic thing happened. And then we really started to connecting and to getting the opportunity to know each other better. You know? So in my vision was how that happened. I don't know in yours if you agree or not.
No, it's true. I think Daniela Lima, who's a mutual friend of ours, connected us, and I think I messaged you after I got back from Brazil just to thank you, and we didn't really know each other, but we kind of started messaging and talking. I think one thing that we have in common is this shared passion or interest in creativity and ideas and thinking, I suppose, and similar topics to that. But we started to talk more and just message and share thoughts. And one of the things that we learn is actually how you can actually utilize the times that we're in to build new connections and stronger ones that you might, not be able to do in the world that we were living before. So what are the kind of advantages you think, or people talk about not being able to see each other personally, and that this great desire to have physical connections and interactions and meet people again, which is very important. Yes. But what do you think are the advantages of living in this virtual world that we're living in, really? What are the positive sides of only being able to communicate virtually?
Well, for sure, I agree with all you said. And I would say that the main thing for me is the creativity, because we had to reinvent ourselves and the way we connect. So I think at the same time, we were more open to that, because when we have the possibility, like I can see you tomorrow, I can go there and just see you. And now I just can't at all. So how I can create new tools and new ways to connect and to be more close. So this was one of the advantages of this situation of the pandemic, So we kind of had to reinvent ourselves, the way we deliver our services, the way we exchange ideas, maybe the way we connect, because we usually go to the same conference yearly, but we didn't really connect it before. So now I can clearly see the advantage of the pandemic, because we were open to that, to know each other and to hear and to exchange, to improve the way we connect. Do you agree?
Yeah. No, I agree with you. And you mentioned creativity and connecting, but one thing that you and I have talked a lot about is how vulnerability is plays quite an important role in that. And one thing that I have found, or I feel, is that people are more open and vulnerable in this virtual way, rather than in person. I don't know what you think about that, but maybe it's because we are in our own houses or bedrooms or kitchens or whatever.
We're kind of protected.
We're protected. Yes. Totally protected, actually. I don't know do you agree? I don't know what you think about that, but I feel like I can say
totally agree.
Things that I would not say or not be able to say at a conference. And some of the things that I posted, for example, on social media, I would never have probably posted those things had I not been in this flat where I'm living. It kind of feels like a bit of a weird, this sounds weird, but it feels like a bit of a castle, and no one can really kind of get to me, so I can actually be myself and express myself
Exactly.
a lot more, and that's probably what you have seen, or other people have seen through some of the things that I've done.
Yes, and I think also, I think the possibility of showing ourselves the way we are opened new doors, because at some point the other had the possibility to know that thing that I have to offer that he didn't know, So these maybe connected us more.
Yeah, and I agree with that, and just wondering, something I have mentioned, I think, to you, is that I felt I've got to know myself better. Is that something that you feel as well in the last 6 months, when you really understand yourself better?
Yes.
In what way? Like how do you know, like, just to go a bit deeper, like what have you learned about yourself for the last 6 months or so that you didn't know before?
Well, the resilience that I have, the ability of dealing with different things at the same time. I have a daughter studying from home. At the same time, I was joining a company as a partner. So I was starting a new business, my own business, and dealing with my husband, working in the same environment, and all the uncertainty about the disease,
Yeah.
and everything that was happening at the same time. So I think the resilience, the creativity side, and these things I discovered as my efforts or something like this.
Yeah, I know what you mean. We both, I mean, many of us have had this time. One thing that people are very busy, but we've had so much time to reflect.
Yeah.
And you and I, we are thinkers. I think we like ideas. Although one thing, I think we talked about this think tank idea, and think more about your purpose and legacy and these things, but you also just want to realize that at some point we're all going to we're all going to die, so we might as well make the most and live life to
Yes.
the, which is kind of a Brazilian way to
Thing.
live life.
Yes.
Well, carnival way, at least, right? I think carnival
Yes. Totally.
is totally about, you know what, everything can be really bad, but let's just drink, party,
And have fun. Exactly.
yeah,
And then we can start the year.
yeah.
In Brazil, we say that the year only starts after the carnival.
Yeah.
So yes.
It's about ideas, but it's also about, I think, having fun, right? So
Yes, for sure.
you like really embarrassing puns. I know you talked about Fridays. Not me. I mean, but there's nothing wrong now and then with a pun, I suppose. But yeah, I think it's good to have a combination of both, and I think that's really interesting. So
Yes,
I don't know if there's anything else you wanted to say about that.
No, I just want to comment that I think the idea of the Brazil Talks was one of the things that that the pandemic made us see, like the possibility of creating communities like this, connecting people from not only from the same industry, but with other points of views, with other purpose, and how we can connect all of them, and how we can create this new environment, just having the best for each one. So I think the main idea here is to bring the benefits that communities like this can bring to us.
And I think we both want to also thank Patricia for giving us the opportunity to do this. We've never done this before. This is not really scripted or anything. We just wanted to be ourselves, but we really appreciate the opportunity for them that they've given us to record this. But I totally agree. This you and I wouldn't be speaking, and I don't know if Brazil Talks really would have existed had it not been for that pandemic. So there are a lot of positives actually from the times that we're living in, and we need to encourage creativity, and we need to support organizations like Brazil Talks that give a space for new thinking and new people to be involved, and a voice. So that's one of the things, really, one of the things that I wanted to talk about today,
Yes.
related to that actually.
Yes, how we can how we can use these communities to take advantage for all of us, you know. So we can, of course, share our knowledge, but we are at the same time learning a lot from the experts, from the market, you know, from the provider side, from the corporate side, from the person who's dealing with the transference and so on. So I think we can connect the knowledge and the people in the same community and can create this new possibility. I think this is the most advantage of the Brazil Talks, you know.
Yeah, no, I agree. One of the reasons, just kind of moving the discussion on, one of the things that I feel very strongly about, have started to feel very strongly about, that I think we need more of in the global mobility industry, or in the world generally, actually, is the idea of pluralism, or diversity. I feel really strongly about that, actually. I feel really strongly about that, because so often we see, if we go on social media or go to conferences, the voice is often coming from one or two regions in the world. It's often coming from here in Europe, or it's coming from North America. And I don't think that should be how things should be in global mobility, personally.
But do you think you changed your mind because you had experiences abroad? Like, I know you lived in Brazil. You can tell us a little bit more about this, but do you think this made you change your mind, the way you see this connection, or not?
That's a good question. I think I don't know whether you would call it an opportunity, but for one reason or another, there was maybe 2 or 3 months during the lockdown where I wasn't really working, and I wasn't really speaking. Actually, you and I were in contact, but I wasn't speaking to too many people. So it gave me the opportunity to step outside global mobility, and I kept active though. Thinking wise, I kept active, and I use LinkedIn. You're not the only person. I hope you're not too upset, but you're not the only kind of random connection that I made throughout these few months. I started to connect with people outside the industry, people who are, for example, economists or innovators that focus on things like systems thinking and leadership. And by stepping outside of the industry, it helped me look from the outside in, as if I wasn't actually in global mobility, and I wasn't. And it helped me to see what I thought worked well and what I thought needed change. That gave me real insight, actually. And I think our industry is amazing because it gives people the opportunity to travel, and the networks we have and the people there really supportive of important causes. There's some really great people out there, but also there needs to be more leaders, and those leaders shouldn't just come from the United States or the UK or from Europe. Those leaders should come from Latin America, Africa, the Middle East, Asia. That's what I want to see. I don't want to. Yeah. I'm a bit tired of hearing about Brexit at every conference, or Trump, or the new. Great, it's fantastic that there'll be a new administration in the US, but the world does not revolve around two regions. It's that we live in a global world. And going back to Brazil Talks, this is a community that encourages a voice coming from Latin America, and that's what it needs to be. Now there are really good people and communities, newer communities especially, that are giving a platform to people from different regions. But in addition to that, we also need a voice from within those regions, and I think that is why I'm supportive of Brazil Talks. But we need new communities, we need new leaders, we need new voices, and I think you have a responsibility with others in the region to take the lead on that, and not just in Latin America, but in different regions as well. That's been my opinion, I'm afraid.
No, that's really nice to know. And yes, I think the pandemic rushed the way we see the things, But I think also the experience that you had abroad kind of expanded your mind and the way you see these connections, and the way you see how the other can improve to our day-to-day and our community, the way we communicate, the way we see each other. I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about your experience in Brazil.
Yeah, I really do. I love Brazil. But before I do that, there's one point that I want to make, to vocalize, that I've not said before. And I think I posted a story on my Instagram on the 23rd of March, which was the day there was formal lockdown here. And there was an economist. His name is Milton Friedman. I don't have the exact quote, but he said sometimes it takes a crisis to bring about real change. And the alternative ideas that are out there at the time, that is when that they can come to the front. And I really believe in that. So if there's anyone watching this that's still watching, if you have ideas, if you believe in something that's a bit different, if you believe things are not right in what you're doing, then now is a really good time to start thinking about them and expressing those and being vulnerable, like we said at the start, because actually maybe those ideas are ones that might create actual change that is necessary. I wanted to mention that briefly, but going back to your question, I am totally in love with Brazil. I have a connection with Brazil since 2006, where I lived in Florianopolis for 6 months. And studying at university. Yeah, I was meant to study at the Universidade Federal de Santa Catarina, but as you know, in Brazil there are strikes sometimes, often. So the university had a strike. Greve em português, greve.
Então você fala em português também?
Eu falo pouco português, mais ou menos, mas eu gosto de falar, sim.
Então acho que agora a gente deve falar em português.
Podemos praticar, se você quiser, eu posso falar um pouco em português.
Muito bem. Me conte como foi essa experiência no Brasil. Você gostou de morar aqui?
Minha experiência, morar depois do coronavírus, do Covid?
Não, quando você morou aqui, você gostou do Brasil, coisas boas?
Sim, eu gostei muito. Foi uma experiência muito interessante. Foi vantagens e desvantagens, mas na minha opinião é um país com muita cultura. Eu gosto muito das pessoas brasileiras, a comida, carnaval, tudo, mas também tem que saber que Brasil não é um país com todas as coisas boas, tem desvantagens também. Eu vi os dois tipos de experiência no Brasil.
Yes. Você fala muito bem português, parabéns.
Muito obrigado. Eu gosto de falar, mas sim, eu acho que a percepção do Brasil é verdade, mas tem que saber que as duas, there are two different types of experiences. It was good, and also there were some difficult experiences from Brazil as well.
Yes, but this is really nice to hear you speaking in Portuguese, because we talk a lot about empathy, and I think when you are going to live in another country, a part of the process of being empathetic is to learn about this specific country and the culture, and to try to learn the English, the language, because I know usually we speak in English, but you probably faced the difficulty here in Brazil because not everybody speak in English. So we are going to try to help the person, of course. We are going to try to communicate, but not often people speak in English. So I think this is amazing from you because you tried, you really lived your experience here, being empathetic. Yes.
I'm curious to know your honest opinion, because actually I'll ask you the question and not answer it, but I'm curious to know whether you think that's important, whether when you go to another country, when someone comes to Brazil, whether it's important to try and speak the language, not just Brazil, anywhere. When you go traveling, do you not think that is kind of, that's something that's quite important in wherever you go? Actually.
Yes, I think that makes all the difference because you are showing your interest. You are kind of being empathetic, and trying to learn to communicate. You are trying to you are showing your efforts in communicate in their way, and in their language, respecting their culture and so on. So I think this really makes the difference.
No, absolutely, I agree. And in any case, when I was very disappointed because I learned that they cancelled the carnival in Brazil in February.
Yeah.
And I was really excited to come. Like, these are my souvenirs, my gifts from when I was in Recife and Olinda. It's one of the most amazing experiences, as well as in Sao Paulo as well. So I because I had planned to return next time there will be a carnival, maybe someone watching, if you want to kind of join us for the carnival when I'm there. But
yes, I think join us.
I think it's really important to be able to speak languages, and particularly for me, because I hope to return to Brazil soon when the parties are happening again only. Then I can speak Portuguese again and I won't forget it.
That's really nice, Ben.
Cool.
Well, I think the idea here today was to talking about this connection that we created in this new environment and how communities like Brazil Talks brought to us this possibility. So I would like to thank you for being here and to kind of interview me and also talking at the same time. I would like to thank you to Patricia and to everybody that maybe is watching us.
Yeah, thanks so much. We really appreciate it. And hope to see you soon at some point. Bye.
Bye-bye.